annotate my books a lot of the time, and so a lot of people were asking me questions about annotating books and what does that look like. I am not a pro at annotating books. I kind of just annotate things that make me happy. So, and by make me happy, I mean like make me have any sort of an emotion whatsoever. It could be happiness, could be sadness, whatever. But I kind of like crying and being sad, so being sad makes me happy. I don't know, that's whatever. Do with that information as you will. So I thought it'd be really fun in this video if we read a book together and annotated it together, and then I can just kind of walk you through that process of annotating a book with me and like why I chose to annotate the way I chose to annotate, if that makes any sense. This is Betting on You by Lynn Painter. I love Lynn Painter. I read The Do-Over. It's so, so cute. This is her newest book, her newest release. It is a YA. It's Charlie and Bailey. Basically, they don't really like each other, and then something happens, and then maybe they do like each other, but maybe sort of Charlie is a liar. So I'm pretty sure it's kind of just the movie plot to She's All That, but I don't care because I love a good fake romance turned real romance. I love those. I eat all of them up. So I thought this would be a good book to read and annotate. Her books are very easy to read. They're pretty quick paced. So there's that. And then I have my annotating tools in this little bag that I stick everything in this bag, and I'll just go through. If I can open it. So first things first, I have a reading light. This I got at a bookstore somewhere, and it's a pretty standard reading light, but it's pink and it's cute. So I do eventually want to get one of those reading lights that go around your neck that I've seen people wear. I think they just get them off Amazon though, so, but yeah, anyways. And then I also have like some markers, different colored markers. This is a highlighter, and then I've got like gel pens, and then we have tabs. And these tabs are my favorite tabs. I get these at literally, like, you can get them at Staples, you can get them at Target, you can get them at Walmart. These are my ideal tabs. I'm kind of picky about the tabs that I use, specifically because I don't like these. So I have them, but they're not my favorite because you can tab them and like, they are see-through, but they're just, like, this pink is just not see-through enough. It's still just a little bit, hold on, I dropped it. Okay, so like this is see-through, but it's just not see-through enough. It's still like pretty not transparent. Whatever the opposite of not transparent is, that's what it is. So I'm not like a huge fan of these, which is why I don't use these anymore. I love these though, and let me tell you why. Because it has the clear tape, and when I tab, I can still see the word underneath it, and I don't have to take the tab off in order to read whatever it was that I tabbed. So these ones are like my favorite with like the clear, and these are Post-it. So just your everyday Post-it tabs. These ones have, I'm missing some colors on this one, but like these are just like the ideal tab because they have the clear in on one side, and then you can see like the color, but the word isn't, the word isn't unreadable. I don't know if that's making sense, but hopefully that does. Anyways, that's the stuff that I use for tabbing, and I just keep it all together in this. So let's read our book and get to marking things. So I just wanted to update you. I did read some of this. I didn't read anything yesterday. The intro was filmed 2 days ago. I didn't read anything yesterday because we had a huge storm and the power went out and trees went down and power lines went down. And so we had gone over to some friend's house that we know from church that are older, and we just like went over and was hanging out with them for a little bit. And then when we were trying to get back home, we literally live 20 minutes, maybe like 15 minutes, I would say, from this couple's house. It took us 3 hours to get home because we had to keep taking all of these like side roads to get around the like roads. Like the storm was so bad. It was so bad. Like there were so many trees and we'd have to turn around and go like a different way to find a different road to get, like, it was crazy. So yesterday I didn't do any reading. By the time we got home, I think we watched like 2 episodes of New Girl, which I've never seen before, but I quote it constantly. I'm always quoting New Girl. But anyways, I digress. This is not part of the film. I'm just like explaining why it's 2 days later. So I did want to go over though what I have annotated so far. I haven't gotten very far in this book. I'm on chapter 4, which is 26 pages in. So we're not very far into this book, but I do want to like talk about like what I am like. There's 2 tabs already. I have underlined quite a bit and like done a lot. The green tabs are Taylor Swift references. Those are the 2 tabs that I've done so far. I just want to say, for annotating specifically, the way I annotate, I'm not annotating, I don't annotate for anyone but myself. So really, truly, no one else is going to care about this book. No one else is going to read this book, most likely. Maybe, I don't know. But most likely, no one's going to look into this book and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she annotated it this way. I just want to say that for me personally, annotating a book is supposed to be a fun thing. Like, it's supposed to be a journey. It shouldn't be stressful. It shouldn't be anything other than like, this just felt like a good thing to annotate. And so I want to like put either my thoughts or anything like that. A lot of times, like when I'm reading, if I'm annotating, I'm kind of having a conversation with myself. I'm kind of just like putting down what's going on in my head, like on the page. So things like we made contact. Like I don't even know if you can see that. I underlined it and put hearts because it's so cute. But then like down here I wrote, so it says, the line started moving, but I couldn't take a step because the 2 people in front of me were kissing hardcore. And then I underlined kissing hardcore and I wrote, I hate when this happens, so embarrassing. Because it is. I don't like when that happens. Like, please save your PDA for when you get home. And then there's this other part where I put red flag. Because she goes, I heard his girlfriend chirp about how much she was going to miss him. I underlined she was going to miss him. And I could see by his profile that he was kind of half smiling. I underlined half smiling and not saying anything. And then I underlined several times not saying anything. And then I boxed it in red and then underneath I wrote red flag. Because like, excuse you? What do you, like, why aren't you saying anything? That's weird. And so yeah, anyways, that's kind of how I annotate. I just do whatever feels good. I'm not doing it for a vibe. I'm not doing it for an aesthetic. I'm not doing it for any other reason other than like, this is just for me. This is for me to go through and go back and either read passages that make me so happy or to go through and like remember how I was feeling. Like if I ever reread this book, I might think differently later on. Like I might not think that that's a red flag because I've already read it and I already know like what was going on. So maybe I'm like, he still should have spoken up and said something, but like I understand why he didn't say anything there. Like you don't know. And so yeah, this is what I'm reading. I'm going to continue to read and annotate it. And then at the end, like when I finish reading this book, I'll go through my annotations and then I'll talk a little bit more on like, somebody must be home. I'll talk a little bit more on like what's going on and like what's happening. My husband went out just real quick, but we're gonna be home pretty much for the whole day because there's trees down, there's power lines down, we're not going anywhere, there's nowhere to go. So I'm just gonna stay home. I'm gonna read pretty much all day. I don't know what he's gonna do. He'll probably do like some work around the house or whatever. So yeah, that's it. That's I just wanted to catch you guys up. So we're going back to reading. It probably like 2 hours ago, but we went and had dinner and we're watching a little bit of New Girl, which is funny because they reference New Girl in here where she's, I think it was when she was in the, I can't remember where she was in it. I want to say it was when she was in like the blanket fort, but I don't think that's true actually. I think they just watched like trash TV. But anyways, I did finish this and it was so cute. It was just so cute. I did not have a ton that I tabbed per se, but I did have a ton that I did underline and draw near and all of that stuff. So that was fun, but I didn't really find any quotes that like jumped out at me. There were just a lot of scenes that I was like, oh, I really want to be able to like go back to this particular scene. And so there was a couple pink tabs that I did where he just was super sweet to her and was really like helpful around her. And then there's a lot of green tabs. Green tabs are Taylor Swift references. There are so many. And then there's one with the Emily Henry book. For the most part though, I didn't really tab this. However, I just want to stress, tab whatever you want. Tab whatever you want. Okay, the best advice that I can give you if you're trying to start annotating or anything like that is to just do what feels good to you. If you love a quote, underline it, absolutely, tab it away. If you think a whole scene is amazing, I would just like tab that, like do whatever. I have things where I just write down, oh my gosh, I just opened it and like literally there's so much, but like I just write things down and just, you know, like whole scenes that I absolutely adore and love. I just wrote like, I love the banter. I love them so much. Amazing. They're so wonderful. I just literally like, it's just a conversation that I'm having with my own head so that when I go back and I read this, like I can be like, yeah, girl, I totally agree. Like I still agree. I still love this. Or I can be like, oh girl, you're delusional. Like what were you thinking there? That's really how I feel like annotating is. I feel personally that annotating is just a conversation with my future self to go back and reread this and like really enjoy it all over again and to think about like, oh wow, like I didn't pick this up before or whatever. I like annotating them because especially if I like a book, I want to be able to go back to it. With that said, this book, I probably would give this 4 stars. I just finished it today. I'm sitting on that. I'm meditating on that. I really love Lynn Painter though, so normally I don't just like annotate every single book that I read, but I love Lynn Painter and I know she's like an annotating author of mine. Emily Henry, I always know I'm going to want to annotate her books. Lynn Painter, I love to annotate her books. Really most romances I love to annotate, and fantasy I love to annotate. Not a lot of thrillers. I can't think of like any thrillers that I've annotated. They don't really like give me that, you know. Yeah. And a lot of spiritual books. I will always annotate spiritual books because I usually write down like questions in the margins and stuff like that, things I want to go back to, all of that kind of stuff. Loved the book. I do recommend this for anyone that's into like a good YA romance. There's no spice in this whatsoever. It's a YA book. There is like kissing and there's cursing. But other than that, I say this is PG-13. And that's it. That's the whole shebang. If you have any other questions though, if you have any questions on annotating whatsoever, go ahead and leave those down below. These are just like normal stuff. I was going to show you like supplies that you need for annotating, and this is what I basically use. I use like a gel pen, a marker, and then tabs is what my usual go-to is. Sometimes I have a highlighter, most of the time I don't though. most of the time. I just love writing, so I'll just underline and write. So that's kind of my go-to for anything like this. But if you have any questions on like what else you can do, because I've seen other people do like whole spreads. So any questions, leave those down in the comments down below. Please do not forget to subscribe and like the video, because that's always helpful. And I will see you guys in the next one. Okay, that's it for me. Goodbye.